Yeah, nothing else for me.
In the
Can
heights.
we
Da, da, da,
can we
da, da,
finally
da,
please
da, 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 da,
review
da.
this movie?
Yes, Luke. In the heights. Go.
I love this movie so much. I watched it 4 times when it was available to watch. It might be one of my favorite movies ever. It might be my favorite musical. It's it's so good. I love every single thing about it. Every single thing. I cry so much during this movie. Look at this boy sneeze. Look at him go. Look at him go.
Who is that guy?
Try
He's
not to
beautiful
get you
Brit.
guys sick. Sneeze into your
Rebellious.
elbow.
So, so this has been like you hear how anxious Luke has been to review this movie, right? I saw this movie May 9th.
That's insane.
I saw this movie like a month and a half before it came out, and I have been waiting to talk about this movie for a long time. Um, but I just remember I was so scared that I was gonna hype it up too much. I was so scared that I was gonna come back and be like, guys, this might be the best movie of 2021. Like, and I didn't want to say it because I was like, man, I don't want to give them the wrong impression. They're going to go into this thing with their expectations through the moon. And looking back, like I wish I would have, because I think it's a realistic statement. Like I think this movie. I mean, look, my favorite movie is Remember the Titans. This movie is close. Like it's this close to being my favorite movie. Like I love this movie. It's all I listen to in the car. When Spotify comes out with their like yearly thing, In the Heights is going to be probably my top 5 songs. It's going to there's going to be top 5 and two maybe 3 of them will be from the In the Heights soundtrack. It's outrageous how many times I've listened to this. At this point, Dana like hates riding in the car with me because she knows it's all I'm going to listen to.
Yeah.
Like I can't stop listening to it. I can't stop thinking about it. I've watched it also, as Luke stated, I've watched it 4 times as well. It's so good, from the music to the performances, just to the story itself and how relatable it is. There's just so much here. Um, I think Luke, after he saw it the first time, was like, "This thing's going to clean up at award season," and man, I hope it does. I really hope it does because I think it's deserving.
I'll be waving the In the Heights flag come
Here,
Oscars time.
here is my bold. I'll get the In the Heights tattoo on my forehead.
Oh.
I'm holding you to
Here's,
that.
no, I'm not doing it. Here's my bold statement, and I don't even know if this is bold at this point. I like it more than Hamilton.
I agree with you, actually.
Yep.
And I'm always really. I remember when I asked you that when you originally saw it, and
It
you're
was
like
so hard for
hesitant to
me.
ask. I'm hesitant to tell people that because I know people love Hamilton.
Yeah.
Um, so whenever people ask me, and I'm like, do you like it more than Hamilton? I'm like, I do. That doesn't mean you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just this movie to me is so much more relatable than Hamilton was.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
I think the music is probably just as good. Um,
I like it
I
more.
think it may be
I
better. Yeah.
I like it more. I think it's just as good though. Like every song is good. Every single one.
Yep.
Hamilton
Um,
with its music does something that that musicals do really well, which is this. I'm talking about stage musicals, which is this ensemble and how they blend together different characters doing things. And Hamilton does a little bit of that, but like, or In the Heights does that a little bit, but In the Heights has this super strong, each character's getting their kind of song deal,
mm-hmm,
and how it then threads through the entire story. It's phenomenal.
mm-hmm.
It's really cool. Like I told you guys earlier, I made that trip to Branson
Hmm?
and I listened to the In the Heights soundtrack front to back, and I listened to Hamilton front back to back. Like I listened to them together. And one of the things I noticed is like In the Heights came out several years before Hamilton. And it's really interesting, like you can hear what he really liked that when he wrote In the Heights in Hamilton. Like the song that comes to mind for me is 96,000, right? It came out before the movie. Everybody's heard it. It's really popular. At the end of that song, like, you can hear every single person's part.
Yep.
But really, in the Heights, you only get that in that song and maybe in the finale a little bit, but not a ton, just a little bit of it. In Hamilton, listening to that again, there's a lot of that. Like, Lin really liked using that in Hamilton, like when he wrote Hamilton. And so, like, it's really cool to see how he has evolved through just each project, right? Like, in the Heights, you saw him, kind of write this ethnic story about finding your dream and recognizing your dream, and it may not be what you thought it was. And then in Hamilton, it's all about, like, and he kind of plays with this, and in the Heights, it's, his legacy and what was left for him. And Hamilton is all about legacy and, who's going to continue my story. And it's just really cool. Like, you can see this evolution of Lin-Manuel as a whole. And maybe we just need a Lin-Manuel episode of What the Fanboy where we just talk about this. But it's just so remarkable, to kind of hear these things back to back. I still like In the Heights' music more. And I think it's because there's more variety to In the Heights. Like, In the Heights is, there's slow songs, there's hip hop, there's dance tunes, there's, all this stuff. Full disclaimer, I love Latin music, so this is like right up my alley. But then you have, Hamilton, it's way more hip hop.
Yeah.
And it's throughout the entire thing too.
Yeah, there's no breaks.
Yeah.
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 Let's see, other pros, cons. I think the acting is great.
Ooh, so good.
We already talked a little bit earlier about how one of the actresses in mention for what was it?
Batgirl.
A Batwoman?
Batgirl.
The Batgirl movie.
Leslie Grace, who played Nina.
Yeah.
Yep.
But all of the kind of the 5-6 that this cast is huge. But kind of the A storyline and the B storyline and their couple characters surrounding the two main characters in storylines, there's probably 6 or 7 that have just they bring it all to the table, and they do a really good job.
Yeah.
You were gonna see these people in everything now.
Anthony Ramos is going to be Transformers.
Yep. Leslie Grace has a chance at Batgirl.
Yeah. I think
Corey
a good chance too.
Corey Hawkins has been in a good bit of things already. And I guess if we're talking pros, I specifically want to point out Corey Hawkins, because to me, he is the Jonathan Groff of this cast. He doesn't get a lot, but what he gets, he absolutely crushes. He absolutely knocks it out of the park. He's fantastic.
Yep.
And to me, he is my favorite of the B storyline characters. Like, I just really like Benny. Benny is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Some other pros, I guess, for me, some of the, I guess I'd call them special effects. Some of the ways they shoot some of these numbers are just so cool.
Yeah.
Specifically when I think the song's called When the Sun Goes Down.
The building, the fire escape song.
The fire escape song, yeah, it's just remarkable. And I remember Brett was watching it when Luke and I came over before an episode, and I was like, man, I hope there's a write-up on how this was done. And of course, the next day Brett sent it to us. But it's so crazy to just kind of see what effort was put into this, by everybody involved. Like, there's a lot of love and passion put into this project, and you can see it. It jumps off the screen.
Yeah. I was, every song I feel like blew me away just with how they staged everything and all the choreography involved.
Yeah.
Like, somebody was always doing something, even in the background. Like, Benny and Nina's song, the first song, like, they're dancing around the park or whatever, and like, they're dancing around the basketball players, or there's the old people in the background who are like dancing to the music, but you don't really notice it. But then you notice they're on beat.
Yeah.
And there's little things like that. And just, I mean, the choreography, I stand by this. There should be a stunt and choreography awarded the Oscars, and it would go in there, be like action stunts in this, because this is almost just, it's the same thing. Action choreography is a dance. It's all rehearsed.
Yep.
And I think this would have a chance of winning it. The choreography in the pool scene, I think, is unbelievable during 96,000.
Yeah.
And then to do that like in the water, like that is intense. That would be so tiring.
Oh, for sure. I would also add to that, Luke, in the opening number and in the Heights, right? Like this is your big moment to sell the audience. I just find it so cool that like Anthony Ramos at the end of that song is just in the crowd. Yeah. The camera is not on him. It's on everybody else. Yep. And the camera eventually gets to him, but it's
the
so
carnival.
Cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like in the back,
you can see Corey
and Nina.
Yeah.
Or Benny and Nina, I guess.
Yeah.
No, and they're just back there dancing.
Yep.
So good.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, inevitably we're going to probably compare this Hamilton in some way. What I love having gotten Hamilton last year and seeing this year. There's, it's interesting you talk about how Hamilton after this, not the film version itself, but as a play musical, and I this was such a logical and well executed next step in terms of cinematography. Hamilton, it's shot on a stage, and the choreography on that stage is fantastic. The cinematography, it leaves a little to be desired because that's what it is. Here in this film, we get to really play with that. We get to go up sides of buildings. We get to, go into the pool, and that's just stuff that's not possible on a stage. And to come out of of that film and nail it out of the park in this one just amazes me.
Yeah, to take advantage of this medium too, right? Yep. Like is what I think you're saying. Like, hey, we're gonna make a movie. Yeah, we'll make it a movie.
Yeah. Yep.
Have fun with it. Do cool things, and they do all of it. They do it. Yep. They don't shy away from like the weird, like magical type stuff that you see. There's, they draw lightsabers in people's hands. Like, there's just so many cool little things like that, and I'm so glad they did this. And it's the only thing I'm going to say about it, about this movie in particular. I wasn't sure, and I've never seen Wicked, but I remember when Wicked was announced, and I know people love it. And John Chu was announced, and I was like, okay, well, In the Heights hasn't come out yet. Let's see. I think Wicked's going to just be absolutely outstanding now.
Dude, I can't wait.
It's going to be crazy. Like, I've never seen it. Gosh. I've listened to Wicked. I cannot wait to hear Defying Gravity and see it in that movie. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
It's going to be so cool.
I might die.
I don't know I hope I can make it to that movie. If John Chu does another musical before Wicked, we're all in trouble. That's all I'm saying.
Man, but yeah, kind of going off what Brett was saying, I think this is I like this more than Hamilton just because this is a movie, and I love movies. Yeah. Just that little bit helps me just like it a little bit more. Gives it a slight edge.
Agreed.
I think it's more digestible than Hamilton. Hamilton's pretty long, and I mean, In the Heights isn't short.
No,
but it's not over 3 hours long like Hamilton is. Like I know people who've watched In the Heights and loved it, and just won't watch Hamilton because it's so long.
And
fair point.
You talk about accessible or approachable, and yeah, it's also like a more traditional story. It's a narrative, and Hamilton is this almost epic of a life of a man.
It's like an epic biopic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
with rap,
with some hip hop, and yeah, I would agree that I think that does make this stronger, just in terms of storytelling. That's not to knock Hamilton at all. I love Hamilton. But...
No.
What I tell people is,
Oh no, we lost him right as he was
Well,
saying something.
What?
Wait, he's
We
back.
lost you.
We're back. We lost you for a minute.
Oh,
Back.
okay.
Go.
What I
Start
tell
over.
people is,
I'm like, well, I like In the Heights more. I'd give that a 10 out of 10, but Hamilton's also a 10 out of 10.
yeah.
Ah.
Like, it's so hard, right? Like, I don't want this to undercut Hamilton by any
Yeah.
means. I just think for me, In the Heights works so much more. Because I feel like I can relate more to these characters, to this story.
It might be
Like,
one of the most relatable
Mhm.
stories ever. Like, it's so simple. What's your
Yep.
dream? Are you sure? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. And then it's about family too, also, and or a community.
Family.
Do you guys have a favorite song?
Whichever
man.
one is currently playing.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
hmm.
very true. Hey, guess what was most recently playing on my Spotify
I can't see it.
when I was
It's not
driving
gonna
home from
Blurry.
dinner?
it's not focusing.
It's Piragua
Ah,
from In the
yes.
Heights. That's not my favorite song, but that's what was playing. Ironically,
Piragua. Piragua.
I would, I think my favorite song has been the entire time. It's between two. For me, it's either Carnaval del Barrio, which I really, really liked the first time I saw it. And I still really I like every song in this movie. This is not even a conversation. But I think my actual favorite is When You're Home. And that's Leslie Grace and Corey Hawkins' song. And I just think that Luke kind of mentioned the scene earlier when they're dancing around the basketball players and they're kind of going through town and they're kind of reliving their childhood and the things they used to do when they were younger and talking about their innocence and
Quit giving me goosebumps.
wondering what could have been, right? Like, what if I never moved here? Like, what if I, just thinking of all the things that could have made your life so much different. And I just think that is such a relatable point, as someone who's moved around a lot, as someone who's lived in 3 different places. When I was younger, I always wondered, what would it have been like if I never left Maryland, right? Like for Nina, what would it have been like if she never left Puerto Rico? And that's a real thing when you're that age, you struggle with. And so for me, that song is so relatable. And then you have Corey Hawkins, you have Benny talking about how he's just a troublemaker and just kind of always goofing off and doing things. And we all had that friend. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's weird that I relate to Nina in that song, but I don't know. That song just does so much for me, internally, emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like it. Lin he pulls the strings, man. I don't know. He's so good at it.
Agreed.
It's too hard for me to pick a song. I feel like some people would think, oh, you just really like the movie. You're just saying that to be hyperbolic. No, it's tough because in that same way, oh shoot, I'm not even a real fan. I can't even remember her name. The other girl.
Wayla Claudia?
No,
Or
the girl Usnavi likes.
Vanessa?
Shoot, what's her?
Vanessa?
Good
Yeah.
grief. It's been too long. I need to see it again. Her song about wanting to move on and be a fashion designer. I just want to follow my dream, but I'm just stuck right
It
here
won't be
in this
long
crappy
now.
apartment. I can't be doing this stuff here. I need to figure out how to follow my dream. I can relate to that a lot.
Yeah.
And the same with Usnavi. He just feels like he's stuck in Washington Heights. And if he goes back home, everything will be so much easier. So that's the whole movie. He's just saying, man, I got to get back to the Dominican Republic and everything's going to be fine.
Yep.
Best days of my life.
Yep. Every single song, I feel like I'm always relating to it.
Yeah, I could go down the track list and do that.
Yeah.
Except for Piragua.
Yeah. That's the Go Back from Intermission song.
Yeah.
I think though, I love the big numbers where you got everybody dancing in the background.
Mhm.
I think those are always the best. I love 96,000 so much. The Carnival But man, I think my favorite. I'm gonna have to kind of do a cop out, but it's the first song and the last song.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
There's like they do this callback with these Navi's part of the song that just is gut wrenching to me. In two parts. When he's singing to Vanessa, and then just the streetlight bit is, I think it's musically genius. This is a callback to the very first song.
Yeah. Dude, the last part of this movie just absolutely obliterates me.
Once the fireworks start going off,
Yeah.
I have tears on my face the rest of the
Yeah.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was watching it with Brett, and every like 2 minutes he'd look over at me and where there's going.
I remember when we saw it in theaters, you were just like, "Oh man."
Here we go again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I watched it, there was a couple to my right, like 2 seats away, and you know, at the end when he's kind of telling the kids, you know, what's going on, and he looks at what is revealed to be his daughter and says, you know, "You're it." And for those who don't know, I'm about to have a daughter. It is an emotionally irresponsible thing to do because now I cannot watch movies like this at all. And I was like sobbing in the theater, and like this couple is on a date next to me, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, and I'm just a mess, man. It just kills me in all the right ways, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's a good cry.
I don't have a daughter, and that killed me. I can't imagine what you both are going through.
Yeah,
I don't
man,
even like kids.
yeah, it's something, man. It's something.
Is. I can't imagine we have any real cons. Do you guys have anything that
Yeah, sorry, Luke and Tyler are just going ham right now.
that is this is awesome.
I
This is awesome.
I have one con
Okay.
actually, that it's not in theaters or on HBO Max anymore, and I can't watch it.
Yeah,
I need them to put it back in theaters or put it back on HBO Max.
Or
Because if Luke doesn't watch this
or
again,
put it out
just
put
put
it
it
out on
on
DVD
4K
so I can
watch
go
it.
buy it.
Yeah, I'll
here's
binge this on 4K.
I'll 4K
Oh,
this one
yeah.
as well. Here's my con. And I didn't come up with this con until today. So I was listening to "It Won't Be Long Now" earlier, and you know who played Vanessa the second time this was on Broadway?
Vanessa Hudgens.
Vanessa Hudgens, right? And I listen to that song, and I think to myself, man, this song was written for Vanessa Hudgens. She would have absolutely crushed this. And I don't think, what's her name? Melissa Barrera does a bad job at all. I think she's fantastic. She's a great singer. She's a great performer. She does a good job. I think Vanessa Hudgens probably would have been better. And her and Ramos had the chemistry from being on Broadway together once before. I think they would have just carried that over into the movie, and it would have been better. All that to say, Melissa Barrera still did a great job. I just think she's a better singer than she is a better singer-actor. Like, I think she does a good job of singing. I don't always. Sorry, guys, we have to have a comment. I don't feel like I don't feel like she's as good at the singing and acting part like Vanessa Hudgens is. Like High School Musical, right? Vanessa Hudgens was way younger, but she does do a good job of singing and acting throughout the performance. And I don't always think that Melissa Barrera does as good a job as her. And I think Vanessa Hudgens would have been a lot of fun to see in this role.
I would have loved it.
I think she would have been crap.
I think she would have crushed it.
Yeah, I think she'd have been really good. But I also
she
like
would have been
Vanessa
good.
Hudgens. I think she's kind of had a weird career path, but you know, what else? She was at the Suns game the other night.
My only con, it actually has, well, not her specifically, but they're at the end of Act 2. There's some tension that's there that I felt was a little cliche. I think the club scene music was great, song was great, but it just felt a little artificial to me. But that's probably a nitpick.
Yeah.
Trying to find something.
I would classify mine as a nitpick too, or a wish list item.
Yeah.
I kind of actually noticed that. I feel like in musicals a lot.
Yep.
Because over the course of a song, an entire shift can
Uh-huh.
happen. Like characters fall in love in
Yeah.
one song. Like I think that's a musical cliche.
I will use that as a strength in this, though, in that Benny and Nina fall in love over the course of multiple songs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
True.
He does a good job of balancing that out with other characters. Do we need to even announce our ratings, or do we
Booyah.
just, you know?
It's
It's
yeah,
it
it's a
is
booyah.
booyah.
It's definitely one that if you have missed thus far, when it comes out for rental or back on HBO Max, purchase,
Go see it.
find a way to watch it.
Just go buy
Yeah.
it. Just go buy it.
It's
Yep.
worth it. You will not regret it.
And then look forward to Tick Tick Boom from Lin-Manuel Miranda and Netflix later this year.
And Wicked in 2 years
Yeah, dude.
from John M. Chu.
I'm like eagerly awaiting the casting for that.
Same. I was just
I'm
about to say
Very
that.
curious.
I'm so curious. I'm so curious. Do you think they'll bring back Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth?
No.
You don't think so? I think
No.
Chenoweth could come back.
I
Only
don't think
because
I don't even think they should.
I think she will.
I think
she'll be in it,
cameo.
but exactly. I don't think she'll be Glenda.
And yeah,
'cause
they're
she's
not going to be
she's in
Glenda and Elphaba.
She's in Schmigadoon. And I was like, man, she hasn't really done a whole lot, and now she's doing another musical. I wonder why that is. Just kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't think they will. It's
Who
I
who
don't-
from In the Heights carries over? Who's your guess?
Corey Hawkins. He's going to be the Scarecrow.
That would be really cool.
You heard it here first. Corey Hawkins is the Scarecrow.
I think the surprise casting of this is going to be
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Henry Golding.
Oh, okay.
I think he'll be in it. I don't know in what role, but I think he'll be in it in some form or fashion because him
Okay.
and John Chu have a relationship, and Snake Eyes is going to bomb, and he's going to be looking to bounce back.
No, dude, it's the best G.I. Joe movie yet.
Oh, I've seen 0 GI Joe movies.
You're
Two.
lucky.
Have there only
I'm
been
excited
two?
to, I guess, watch Snake Eyes.